What's up, Sharks? This is Mr. O with the third set of final flip notes for the Soil and Soil Conservation Unit. This is the second half of the unit. In your Science Composition TOC, this is going to be number 8, and it's going to be Soil Conservation. Let's get started. So to start with, we have to know how land use affects soil. Well, humans can do one of two things. We can either harm it or protect soil. This is a valuable question because you have a choice to make, and how you choose to live your life and how you choose to do that can affect soil one way or the other. And soil is a resource that takes thousands and thousands of years to refurbish, considering the main ingredients, whether rock particles, take so long to get back to it. So the way you look at this choice can affect it. We're going to start with the way humans can harm soil. So in your notes, I'd make a chart. I'd put the heading of the chart, ways humans harm soil, and then you have 3 ways: farming, construction development, and mining. For each of these, they are very similar how we harm the soil. For farming, it leads to soil loss because you're tearing up the ground. We could include fertilizers because they might not have that O layer. And we're taking away vegetative cover. If you don't know what vegetative cover is, it's plants that cover the ground. And plants covering the ground allow plant and dirt to stay there. The minute you remove the plants, you remove the roots, and the roots help dirt stay in place. You look in construction development, it has the same 2 as farming. The only thing different, it has soil that can get into waterways and harm organisms that live in those waterways. And then in mining is the 3rd way humans harm soil. And you'll see 1 and 3 are the same, and then the only thing different would be number 2, which is you're increasing the chemical weathering because you're causing pollution with mining because of what you're exposing as you mine. So these are 3 ways. In Raleigh, obviously the biggest one here would be construction development, but if you travel an hour outside of Raleigh, farming is going to be a big issue. However, those farming things is the way humans can also protect soil. So we're going to talk about 5 ways farmers can protect soil. Here's the 5. We're also going to make another chart here. The heading is going to be humans protect soil. You have 5 ways: crop rotation, conservation, tillage, or plowing. They mean the same thing. Terraces, contour plowing, and windbreaks. I know, breaking wind. I get it. Ha ha. But let's talk about what each of these are. So crop rotation literally means rotating your crops. I mean, it wasn't a pretty sophisticated naming system, but what happens if you take your same farm and all you do is plant tomatoes in there year after year after year after year? You're going to kill the soil's nutrients in there. So every year, if you change what you plant in the ground, different nutrients are used by the plants, which you're going to maintain soil fertility, meaning you're going to allow things to grow in that soil longer. Conservation tillage, really what it is you're reducing the number of times you plow, but also when you plow, you're not taking everything you rip down away, which leaves some stuff on the top layer of the dirt to prevent against soil loss. Terraces, you probably heard terraces in your house. This is when you're on like hillsides or steep inclines. The Aztecs did these. Chinese currently use these for rice farms. But what you're doing is you're preventing against soil loss and erosion. When water hits a mountainside or a steep hill, it's going to run downhill, and terraces allow that water not to take the soil with it. Contour plowing, very similar to terraces you find on steep hills, countrysides, and it allows plowing to be done in contours, which means grooved, and it acts the same way terraces does. Oftentimes when you hear questions about what would you do on a mountainside or hillside when you're planting farms, it'd be terraces and contour plowing. And then windbreaks is just like crop rotation. You're breaking the wind. So if you think about a big field of farm, you plant walls of trees in between the farms, and that will prevent against soil loss. Now, those are the ways humans harm and protect. There's other ways. I mean, obviously litter and stuff like that, but in 6th grade science, they want you to focus on the big 3 harms and then the big 5 protection of soil with farming practices. The last thing we're going to talk about here is the rock cycle. It's something quick that I need to talk about. It's in your study guide. You're probably wondering where that information is coming from. It'll be on this set of flip notes. And here is the rock cycle, how each of the things are formed. You can realize that the asterisks in each of those boxes are connecting how the rock cycle connects with the layers of the earth and the plate tectonic units. Just so you know that all the rocks in the world have been or can be any 3 of the types, depends on where they are in their life. And they continuously cycle just like the water cycle. And here's a visual of the rock cycle, and you can see the arrows going back and forth because they can change from igneous to metamorphic, then go sedimentary, metamorphic, and rocks, just like the water, would be recycled year after year after year after year after year. All right, that's the end of your flip notes. Hopefully this was fast and quick for you. You should be able to finish your study guide now, and I will be checking these at the beginning of class tomorrow. Make sure you have any questions or comments you have about this ready when we go over the notes tomorrow. Have a good night.